Okay, this is Rohit.
And this is Shiv.
And this is Venkatesh.
This is Srinivas.
And I'm Naveen.
Today, we're going to learn something new actually. I mean, you must have been known about this concept, but I just liked it, so just try to get some more information about it. Uh, Black box. Air isn't always an accident, actually. So, I just want to organize my discussion today with history before I'll be taking the history part, and my friends will be taking the technical perspectives, Shiv and Venkatesh, and the drawbacks and the future research would be done with my friend Srinivas, and the other applications of this concept would be done with my friend Naveen, and finally would be our conclusions. So let's go back to the history sometime. Actually, what exactly made scientists to invent the black box? Man has been really crazy since ages. Like before the evolution started, he was not really matured and not really developed. And so, after the evolution concept has begun, he started thinking. So he started using the brain, though. And later on, as the civilizations passed away, he started igniting his mind with the latest invention. He started thinking the different corners and try to explore the activities. And so he became very creative and became very addicted to all kind of inventions. And he became too crazy though. He was never satisfied with whatever he has. So he has an idea. Why not we fly? So this concept gave scientists to really work on different flying methodologies. So here is a small video, and so this is the very first generation how the invention of flight has become. Of course, failures are always path to success, and you should always learn from mistakes what you do.
What year was that?
Uh,
First year?
I just don't remember. It should be
Before
1800s. Yeah, it might be 1900. Yeah. Uh, yeah. And this was one of the most craziest part. I just want to stop here. And so this word continues, and he never stopped working on it. He still tried to work more and more. And finally, the day has come on December 17th, 1903, where our Wright brothers have first created the first manned aircraft. Of course, though it lasted only for 5 minutes, but it was a huge success, though. And today, now this is the picture that shows during the midday, very midday. These are the lines that show how many flights have been flying in the sky around 12 o'clock noon. And this has been taken by NASA. And in US daily, approximately 150,000 people travel by air daily. And so nothing is so perfect in this world, and aircrafts are no more exception to this. What's happening? What happens if something really goes wrong when in the midst of flight or mid of air? And it might lead to real crashes, and which impacts thousands and millions of people's lives. And so this concept made Dr. Warren in 1953 to conceive the idea of recording the events that happen in the aircraft that are behind the accidents, though. And this is the very first invention of black box in 1953. These devices are not only built to record the parameters of what the functionality of aircraft is, but also to find the location of the missing craft. And in 1960, The Australian government is the first country to make it a mandatory that every aircraft should have a black box. And next part would be continue with my friend Shub.
So as of now, one of my friend told about the history of the black box. Let's see the inside of black box. Inside of black box, we have two components called FDR and CVR. FDR is nothing but flight data recorder, and CVR is nothing but cockpit voice recorder. And the FDR. FDR is records aircraft's performance parameters used for analyzing air safety issues. This FDR and CVR is been built with titanium, and so that with a huge impact it can be able to resist well, and here the FDR characteristics can withstand high pressure and temperatures, can be easily identifiable, and this FDR, this black box is usually fixed in a tail of an airplane, and it should be which is in orange in color or red in color, and here the parameters of FDR can be recorded: time, pressure, altitude, airspeed, vertical acceleration, magnetic headline, control, rudder paddle position, control wheel position, horizontal stabilizer, fuel flow. Here comes the CVR. It records audio environment. This typical achieved by recording the signals of microphones and earphones. These are the characteristics of CVR. It can record any ambient noise, for instance, switches being thrown on the knobs and threads. The microphone embedded in it can facilitate the audio to preamplify before getting recorded over. And this is how the black box looks like. The first part is the input, in which the circuit board, I'll enlarge it. And the second is armor, third is the memory, and the fourth is beacon. For a clear, we'll watch a video for the black box.
If an airplane goes down, it's the infamous black box that gives us information about the plane's speed and altitude before the crash. So how do you make something that can record all that information but still withstand impact 3,000 times the force of gravity and temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees Celsius? Well, the answer isn't this flimsy outer casing, but instead it's this framework, and especially the magazine held inside. This is made from steel, and you can see here the Delta Airlines logo. I bought this on eBay for about $100. The magazine shows the key components that allow the black box to record information so consistently and durably. Inconel steel. This metallic foil records flight parameters. They're engraved or scratched onto the Inconel sheet. In fact, the real name for this device is a foil oscillographic recorder. Tucked away inside the black box, we see instruments that measure altitude and airspeed. They're right here. Two other instruments are buried in the black box. They measure magnetic heading and vertical acceleration. Now, if you look through the front, you can see that there's a small arm attached to each instrument. A very tough piece of metal on the tip cuts the gauge's readings into the roll of metal in the magazine. This system of gears moves the foil at 6 inches per hour, and a spool is 200 feet long, meaning it can record 400 hours of footage, as you can see here on this gauge. The key to making the black box work is the Inconel metal used in the magazine. Typically used in furnaces, it's resistant to corrosion and oxidation, and when it's heated high enough temperatures, it forms an oxide layer that protects the surface from further attack. Now, today's black boxes are typically solid state and, of course, digital, but I still love these old flight data recorders. They show the ingenuity of the engineers in using Inconel steel in the magazine, one of the few substances that could do the job. I'm Bill Hammack, the Engineer Guy.
Yeah, by this video you must have understood that this black box is used for the investigation purposes. If at all any flight crashes, that's for black box. Now next is
Hi friends, I'm going to cover the next part of this presentation, and I want to say about the technologies used in this black box. There are two technologies used in this black box. There's one is like magnetic tape recording, and another is like solid state recording. In this magnetic tape, it's nothing but it's like a tape recorder. A magnetic tape is nothing. It stores digital information. The modern magnetic tape is commonly packed in a cartridge and a cassette. Nowadays, many of the black boxes are using these magnetic tapes, which is made on like 1990s. The magnetic recorder can track around like 100 parameters. And next, coming to solid state technology. This is more reliable than magnetic tapes, and they are made of stacked arrays of memory chips, no moving parts, and it stores it. This device has enough digital storage space, and it records 2 hours of audio and 25 hours of flight data. It gathers the data with the help of sensor. The sensor detects the acceleration, airspeed, attitudes, outer temperature, flap settings, and some more with the help of sensors. These solid state recorders can track more than 700. It's more than 700. 700 in larger aircrafts. All the data collected by the plane sensor is sent to the front desk. It's front data acquisition unit at the front of the aircraft. And this is the place where black box is stored. With the help of sensors, it collects the data from around this aircraft. And next, coming with the crash survival sequence test. This is nothing like a quality test. And the first one is crash impact. In this crash impact, the researchers showed the CMSU. It's nothing but crash survival memory unit. It shoots down air with the help of air cannon to create an impact of around like 3,400 gravity speed. At 3,400 gravity speed, the CMA hits the aluminum honeycomb, like target at the force equal to 2,400 times its weight. This impact force is equal of what the what a recorder might experience in the real-time crash. Crash. And next, coming to pin drop. In this test, the research drops around like 500 pounds weight with the 0.25 inch of steel pin from the bottom onto the CMR from the height of 10 feet. And next, coming to static crash. In this stage, the research tries to do with the 5,000 pounds for 5 minutes. They will crash to it. And next comes with fire test. And in this test, this unit will placed on a fireball for at least for 1 hour. And next comes the deep sea submersion. In this research, the unit will placed on a in a salt water for around in saltwater tank around for 1 hour. And next coming to saltwater submersion. In this test, this unit is placed for around like 24 30 days in the salt water. And next coming to fluid immersion. In this test, they will try with every aviation fuels uh, like like jet fuels, lubricants, and fire exhausters, and chemicals, etc. And next, my friend will explain about this.
Generally, every technology has some limitations and drawbacks. So, coming to the black box technology, it may lead to some working failure at times. So, generally, black box is a design with some electronic components. So, it may lead to failure at some times. So, there are certain cases wherein the boxes could not be retrieved. Example, consider the 9/11 incident when there is a plane crash. We are not able to find the black box. So, it has been a problem for the investigators. So, even it's a time consuming, take at least 2 weeks to 2 months. Even if the black box hasn't found, it is difficult to analyze the incident since the since we have the since we have broken equipments and other parameters. So, considering the cost factor, it is also a drawback of the black box. The black box is cost around $15,000. So, it's also a general drawback. Yeah, coming to the future research. Yeah, prototype one, FDR plus CVR. So, instead of using two devices, FDR and CVR, flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, the Smith Industries has developed a IDAR, integrated data acquisition recorder. So, for combining FDR and CVR, it acts as both FDR and CVR. So, even with the help of IDAR, the system weight is reduced up to 25%. So, what are the advantage? We have low maintenance. We have 25% reduction in the critical system weight and can store more information. So, coming to the prototype 2, the data from airplanes directly transmitted to ground storage facility. So, the data about airplanes can be directly transmitted to the storage facility on the ground. It's called glass box. So, the facility is called glass box. So, usually the functionality of the glass box maybe includes the transmission. So, in case of transmission in the higher areas, the data is communicated around with the antenna and the satellite. So, in case of low areas, the data is directly transmitted to the receivers. So, coming to the bandwidth, to save money, planes could flash data intermittently, switching to streaming in an emergency. Coming to the satellite, by 2015, a constellation of dedicated search and rescue satellites will track planes' locations more quickly worldwide. Uh, Coming to the storage servers, we have around 12 storage servers around the world that will store and send real time flight data. So eventually, every airline has its own data servers. So next will be continue, my friend.
Hi everyone. I'm going to explain about the applications of the black box in the future applications. Uh, we know that the black box is a device that is used to record all the events, all the happenings at the events and the disasters. Some of these black box are used in different applications like trains for the event recorders and event data recorders in the bus, trucks, cars, and the ships. Coming to the in the train. Basically, these black boxes are installed on the locomotives and the rail tracks, which used to help to locate the cause of heavy vibrations of the train, and this is used to help to find out the accident investigation, and these are used to for measuring the performance and avoid the accidents and improving the safety. And coming to the ships, the black boxes which are installed in the ships are called as VDRs, like voyage data recorders, which are used to help in the accident investigation, prevent maintenance, and, and monitor the performance. The main difference between the railway black boxes and the ship black boxes is the in the ship black box it is used to monitor the weather condition which damages the ships. And coming to the trucks, in trucks the black box which are used in the trucks are called as electronic control modules or ECMs. These black boxes are usually designed to monitor the how a truck is being used at the time of event. Basically, this black box helps insurance companies when the truck drivers claim for their insurance coverage. The basic use of this instrument is that it records the truck speed, engine RPM, and the misuse of the truck. It can also record the information related to the rough and high speed driving and the crashes. It provides accurate information of how many hours the driver has drove the truck, whether he overdrove or how many hard, hard or panic stops he made. Coming to the black boxes in the cars, it helps whether the driver wore the seat belt, deployed the airbags, or whether he braked hard or unwantedly accelerated just before the crash. And there is a global positioning system placed in the cars which are used by car rental companies to find out whether the renter is going to and lock him out if he's driving rough. And these black boxes are used in motorcycles too. It helps to motorcycle motorists whenever he accidentally locked out of their vehicles or have lost their vehicles. And finally, I conclude that invention of black box is most important fact of providing a tool in the hands of investigators for the disastrous crash. It helps to determine the causes which lead to the crash. Though this device has some drawbacks, I feel no product is ever perfect, but failure pushes us towards perfection. I hope research on this product will improve the technology to help recover the unrecovered cases.
And yeah, to my perspective, nothing in the world is so much important as much as we care for our lives. So, with the advent of technology, lots of progress has been made, but as I said, no technology is really so perfect as of now. So each technology has its own pros and cons. But what would be the situation if something goes wrong when the flight is in midst of in the air? It might lead to severe dramatic difference. And so, but we are very fortunate in this world because scientists are struggling to find innovative procedures to reduce the flight accidents as much as possible. What if the accidents we have been seeing today are dramatically reduced when we have seen the accidents of 1980s and 1970s? There were more accidents, but right now the accidents have been dramatically reduced. This is probably due to the only fact that we have conquered new technologies and to record and understand the safeties and what are causing them, and so we are able to build up much better aircrafts day by day. And air travel has always begun with new philosophies. So scientific progress has been bringing much changes day by day, and so all these changes are certainly making the air travel much more reliable and safe.
I would conclude on this one is one of the finest invention made by the humans is black box because nowadays many people have been traveling from one country to another country, one country to one place to another place by means of airplane, and previously a lot of crashes has been happening, And there is a precautions taken by this is black box, wherein this black box figure out the problem for those crashes. Investigations process goes on, and if possible, this black box helps to rectify the problem in the air itself. And this CVR and FDR has been placed. The CVR has been placed in four directions in the plane. One is the pilot, and the second is co-pilot, and two are somewhere in the between, so that in the emergency someone can respond to that. So this is used to investigation and reduce the crashes.
And my conclusion is about the black box is prevent correction for the safer journey. And this black today the use of black box is no more limited to the aircrafts. It now makes possible to investigate various accidents, including cars, trucks, motors, and motor vehicles, trains, etc. Hope this technology gives to next level to detect the accident before it can happen and provide an instant prevention action. That's it. Thank you.
I may conclude that black box should transmit data continuously, just like other cell phones and other portable devices, so that can send and receive data easily. So even this would save time for investigators and money for the search team to pay the equipment and personnel. So with the help of this, they can transmit data to their main base or the next airport or the next waypoint that the aircraft is heading towards, and then delete the recording every time the aircraft lands.
Then white questions for black box.
Now, one of you had said that the cost was around, was it 50K?
No, it's 15.
15. Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure. So 15,000. Okay. And do the ones that are in the cars and the ships, do those cost a comparable amount to manufacture? The ones for the ships and the cars?
I don't think so. They cost so much because they don't need to record so much of data when compared to the airplanes and all
Sure.
this stuff. Because airplanes have so many parameters to get it recorded, but I
Right.
don't think car has so many features to get it recorded. So
Right.
I possibly feel that it needs a bit of space, and all these data recorded data recording devices have doesn't store it permanently. They automatically keep on deleting the stuff and adding the new stuff, and they only last for 2 hours and 3 hours. That's it.
Other question, please.
If it's orange, why do they call it a black box?
I mean,
Yeah. To resist the heat of around more than 1,000 degrees Celsius. It's too hard and it's very difficult to melt even.
No, but I say if the box is orange,
Hmm.
why do they call it the black box?
I can tell you. The fact is, if there are certain softwares, if we don't know the code, we call it black.
Okay.
We just make it. If we don't know something, we just mention it black. So since there is the complete black box is completely confidential, so no one, the aviation industry, don't want to reveal the complete data, so they say black box.
From day one was named black box, from day one when they invented
Yeah,
it?
I mean, they actually call it flight recording stimulators. That's what they call it. But since they want to make it confidential, as I said, and they don't want to reveal, and since it is very complex to even understand, they say just black box.
Like black market. Yes, another question.
First of all, I wanted to say thank you for introducing me to that presenter. That was really fantastic.
Thank you.
In your research, did you see anything in regards to insurance companies or anybody else incorporating this kind of technology in the standard automobile, with as much as, those have changed in the last 5 years? just to record data on general traffic crashes and stuff like that.
That's actually going through. I mean, the National Transportation Safety Board of United States have taken certain measures to make sure every car that has been manufactured in the very recent years and to implement with this kind of data boxes so that if there is any kind of accident or any kind of drastic event, the investigators could find out what exactly has happened, and it would also help the insurance agencies to go to the next level of process. So,
Other questions? White box. Okay, please give them another round of applause.